More than 100 million people across the Great Lakes, Northeast, and Mid-Atlantic are feeling the effects of the dense wildfire smoke that is coming down from Canada. The thick orange haze causing the air quality to spike to levels so hazardous that some states are warning that healthy adults may be affected. The National Weather Service is also advising people to limit their outdoor activities and keep their windows closed overnight. CNN's Brian Todd is right here in Washington, where the air quality right now is not great, to say the least. Brian, you've been out there all day for us. How long can we expect this to last, and how's it been out there?
Well, Casey, as far as how long it can last, I can update you on that in a second. We think it'll last probably at least through this time tomorrow. We may get a break after that. But as for the way it feels out here now and the way it looks, it's pretty miserable. And I can show you that just by stepping aside. Our photojournalist, Jay McMichael, is going to go past me, and you can visibly see the smoke and haze. This is always a position here of some depth where you can get a good view here. We're near the Iwo Jima Memorial, where we're standing right now. That's across the Potomac River in Arlington, Virginia, from those monuments. And on a normal day, take a look at the view. On a normal day, you can see the Lincoln Memorial. You can clearly see the monument behind that and the Capitol behind the monument. Well, now, as you can see, the Washington Monument and the Capitol are barely visible through the haze. You can see the monument a little bit better now than you could an hour ago, but that's only really because the sun is hitting it more directly. But it has gotten worse here over the past several hours. The smoke and haze have just really worsened here, and the air quality is just not healthy. Everybody advising you stay out of this stuff. The website IQ Air, which measures air quality, they said that as of this morning, Detroit, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. were the most polluted cities on the face of the earth. Now, the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments is telling people, do not come out in these conditions for any length of time. If you feel like you have to be out here, like you have to work out here or anything like that, use one of these. The COVID-era N95 filtration mask is a good piece of equipment to use in this weather. This is a regular N95 mask. You can use this as well, but do not use a cloth mask because cloth masks do not protect you from wildfire smoke. Now again, Casey, when we talked about at the beginning of this, how long this is going to last, according to most forecasts, there is a series of thunderstorms that's going to move through here tomorrow afternoon and evening. That is supposed to make things a lot better as far as just dissipating all these particles. That's also good news for the World Cup final in New Jersey on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. They were wondering about that and how good the air quality was going to be for the players and the fans out there, and whether these kinds of conditions would persist. It looks like they're going to get a break as well. That area should see some rain on Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, so the air quality for that World Cup final on Sunday should be a lot better. Casey?
All right, fingers crossed. Brian Todd for us. Brian, stay safe out there. Thank you very much for all of your reporting here and all day long. And of course, like everything here in Washington, the poor air quality is political. President Trump just moments ago blaming Canada, writing on Truth Social this, quote, "The United States is being unnecessarily invaded by filthy, polluted, and unhealthy air." The president goes on to say that Canada is not properly maintaining their forests and that their, quote, "willful negligence is costing the U.S. billions of dollars." He ends the post by suggesting that Canada should compensate the U.S. through, you guessed it, tariffs. CNN Washington correspondent for Puck News, Leanne Caldwell, is joining our panel now. I suppose that this was predictable. I don't think we had time to get the producers to bring up the South Park clip. But Leanne Caldwell, there's also a move in Congress. There's a senator that wants to sanction the Canadians over this. I think it's worth underscoring that this is something that is uncontrollable. The Atlantic actually kind of walked through some of the science of what goes on in Canada, and they said, this professor, they quoted a professor who said, quote, "You can't control these fires. You cannot put personnel, fire engines over an area that is the size of the entire American South," or something like that. It's just way too big of an area. So this is why the Canadians have just monitored these forests, which are wilderness forests, as opposed to trying to fight them. And of course, it's really climate change that all of us contribute to that is ultimately causing this.
Yeah, and this is just another chapter in this war between the U.S. and Canada that the president is very willing to pick. But as you mentioned, Senator Moreno is also introducing something in Congress. The 4 Republican congressional members from Michigan wrote a letter to Carney saying that he needs to get this under control. And so this is becoming absolutely political. Just yesterday, totally separately, Canada says that they're not going to pay the U.S. any of the tolls from the bridge that connects Canada to the U.S. and Michigan because the U.S. owes Canada money. So there is just this back and forth and using it absolutely for political purposes. And as President Trump likes to do, likes to victimize and point the finger at everyone else and create a victim.
There is one legitimate critique here, though. The Canadian, this is not a question of are they having enough firefighters, but Canada, their forests are 90-something% owned by governments, provincial governments and the national governments. Here in the U.S., it's the opposite. It's about 5% owned by government. The rest of them are in private landholders. And America's private landholders, most of which are timber companies, use good forest management practices. They thin the understory. They do prescribed burns. Canada's government doesn't follow that procedure. So that's the critique that Senator Moreno is alleging, is that Canada has not properly exercised good forest management, and that's part of why we have wildfires. So I think that's a pretty legitimate beef. And Mark Carney, when asked about it, his answer was just, oh, the United States should use more clean energy. That's kind of a tell that maybe he thinks there's some truth to it.
Let's watch what the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, had to say about this, as in the context of this ongoing argument between the Canadians and the Americans in the second Trump administration. Watch.
I truly believe the Americans are good neighbors. If there's some politicians out there chirping away, well, maybe what you should do rather than complain is send support, send help, because we have done the exact same thing for our American friends, and that's what you're supposed to do.
It's worth noting that Congresswoman Lisa McClain, who's a Republican from Michigan, pointed out that Michigan tried to send people to help in the last round of this. Let's watch what she had to say.
Hello, Michigan. Another summer, more Canadian wildfires. I've been in touch with the White House. I've been in touch with Pete Hoekstra, as well as Brooke Rollins. Last year when this happened, I don't know if you remember or not, but we actually sent some of our firefighters and foresters to Canada to try and mitigate the situation up there, since they aren't really doing much.
Brad Todd, does that address some of what you're talking about as well?
Yes, I think it is a management question. And of course, these are not simple things. There's a lot of reasons why wildfires happen and why they end up out of control. I don't think a long-term fight with Canada is in our interest in the elections this year. But I also think that calling out bad forestry management practices to our neighbor to the north is actually a legitimate thing for us to do. We have to share this continent.
Yeah, I will say, big picture here, Elliot, for average Americans trying to live their everyday lives, this is going to become more normal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what lost in all of this, because when you say the word climate change, people's heads get all spun up about a political fight. We have to acknowledge this did not happen when we were kids. This is happening more frequently because the Earth is getting more hot. Now, we can fight all we want about the causes of that. Is it business? Is it cars? Is it whatever else? But the Earth is getting hotter. And we can wag our fingers at Canada all we want, but this is going to keep happening until the more systemic issue that we have gets fixed. And I just don't know. I think it's a very easy solution. I get it. I get why this is a political fight over forestry, but it's something much bigger than that.